springtime in the mountains, and it means it's time to get back into renovation mode. We have a little bit more to do. We got all the rooms downstairs finished and they look beautiful with the exception of the utility room. Now unfortunately this utility room is where the stairs are between the upstairs and the downstairs, so we walk through it every day. And it's not beautiful. So we would really like to do the shiplap ceilings in there like we did everywhere else, and we would like to do something to cover up the washer and dryer and the water heater and the boiler and the cobweb of copper pipes. But however we cover up all that stuff, we need to be able to uncover it in case we ever need to work on anything. And we have these ridiculous vent pipes that feed fresh air to the boiler, and they have to be there, but they're on the ceiling, so we can't put up the ceiling, and they're in the way of the wall, and whatever we're gonna put, and they're just So one day while Tammy and I were staring at the mess trying to figure out what we were going to do with it, Tammy had the idea, you know, those rolling barn doors are really popular right now. I wonder if we could do that. So I started researching it, and you can find all of the hardware to do these rolling barn doors, but the kits are really expensive and they never include, you know, the doors. So I got to thinking, you know, there's not much to this. It's just some flat iron and some bolts and some spacers, and I could probably figure out how to do it. So I started engineering. And I just really felt like, I don't know if I want to build this myself. And then I remembered that our realtor left us a credit on Wayfair.com. But then I found out Wayfair.com sells rolling barn door kits. And they had one that was on sale. Now you have to consider that the space we're trying to cover is over 12 feet. And anytime you're doing rolling barn doors, you need an additional width of the doors off to the side if you want to get them completely out of the way. So we were looking at a 20-foot rail system. And we would have to custom build the doors because they're a really wonky size, and oh, the complications just keep adding up. But before we can do anything, we have to deal with those stupid pipes. I came up with all sorts of ideas for how to run the pipes in different directions so we didn't have to go under the floor joist and it wouldn't be in the way of the barn doors and we wouldn't have to deal with it on the ceiling. But that would mean drilling a big hole in the side of the house, and I didn't really want to do that if I didn't have to because there was already a hole in the house. And then I realized, you know what I could do is I could just put them in a little box and kind of reroute them and get them out of the way. This might work. Now the smartest thing to do is to reuse as much material as you can, but it is not easy to wrangle a 12-foot by 6-foot L-shaped piece of pipe that is already glued together. But I did get the pipe where I wanted it and celebrated. Yeah! Perhaps too soon. Got it! Now that the pipe was where I wanted it, I just had to build a box around it, and the box didn't have to do any weight bearing, so it didn't have to be complicated. It just had to hold some shiplap. Now that I had the vent pipe box all figured out, it was time to hang the ceiling. Except no. Because first I had to figure out how I was going to hang these crazy barn doors. I came up with a design for this huge 2x12 beam that was supported by 2x4s on the back and was 20 feet long. We covered those 2x12s in coats and coats of polyurethane to make sure that they didn't warp because I didn't want the thing that was holding my barn doors to be crooked. And once we did all the heavy lifting to get this huge beam up in place, we could start on the ceiling. Except no, because first I had to take down all the nasty old fluorescent lights and rewire for the new lights. And then we could put up the ceiling. For real this time. Oh wait! What about the plastic barrier that's supposed to hold all the dirt from the floor up above from falling down into the room? Oh well, you know what they say about the best laid plans of mice and men. So we finally got the ceiling done. The lights are up, the beam is hung for the barn doors, but the rails are not hung yet, and we still have to build the barn doors. I guess you'll just have to subscribe so that you get to see all that stuff. And Tammy and I celebrated our accomplishments by taking a night off and watching the only movie appropriate for when you're doing renovations, The Money Pit.
The bathing is in this mixture.
Little problem in the kitchen, nothing trivial.